What's up, guys? I'm Shreyas Laddha from the Kansas Star. I have my guy, Carter Stanley. We're talking Jayhawks, another episode of Rock Chalk Film Room. They come off a bye week. Kansas is sitting at 1-5. Not a great season so far. Me and Carter were talking about it before, but they are on the verge of losing bowl eligibility. Like if they lose this game against Houston, they're sitting at 6 losses, and it gets really hairy if they can even make a bowl game after that point. But this is a game they're favored in, and a lot of the locker room has talked about a renewed sense of optimism and kind of a chance to kind of look at it 0-0. But Carter, you've played, with KU football. How beneficial are these bye weeks, and do you feel like it can change the season direction Kansas is currently in?
Yeah, no, I think it totally can. And, obviously first half of the season didn't go nearly as we expected, or I think anyone expected. Definitely been a bummer, but I think the bye week can be a great reset because you don't have to focus on a specific opponent that upcoming Saturday. You could just kind of fully look internally and see what's going well, what's not going well, and make the necessary adjustments. So, I think knowing Coach Leipold and the staff, I think they probably took full advantage of that and definitely excited to see it on Saturday.
100%. And let's kind of break down, what we can expect and what Kansas needs to look out for against Houston. And I think one of the most important things that we're going to talk about today, and it's been an issue all year for this Kansas team outside of the Illinois game, is stopping quarterbacks from running. That has been a thing that they have not been able to do besides the Illinois game. And Houston now has a new quarterback they put in, Chris. He played in the TCU game. He had over 97 yards or 90 yards on the ground. He had another 150 yards passing. He's a transfer quarterback, and he has wheels. You can see in this play, and I know you talked about it. Look at this.
Yeah, no, he's very explosive, and I think first 4 games of the season they had a veteran and Donovan Smith at QB, 6'5", 230, just monster. Has played a lot of years in the Big 12. And for whatever reason, he's not playing too well in Willie Fritz's offense. So, I think rightfully so, they made the move. And, like Smith, Chris here is a runner for sure. I think he's run first, but a lot more quick twitch, a lot more shake and bake than Donovan, who's more of a bruiser. And, don't sleep on his arm too. They're not a team that's going to throw the ball 30 times a game, but he can definitely make some plays with his arm. But this is something where KU's defense is going to be, they're going to need to be on cue any given play for quarterback run.
Yeah, I think J.B. Brown said it today that they need to do a better job containing the quarterback, and the way they could do that is the angles they get the quarterback can be better. And I think that's certainly been true. And you look at his kind of stature and frame, and he's a taller quarterback. He's a bigger guy. He's going to be tough to bring down, I think, for this Kansas defense, especially with some of the injuries they've had in the secondary. Kobe Bryant's questionable. Cornell Wheeler has recovered from injury. Tywin Berriel has had a really rough year. I think in PFF, he's been one of the worst ranked Big 12 players in his position in the entire conference. It's just not been
what you're looking for.
Yeah, it's not what you're looking for. And I think, we've seen that expounded in this KU defense because Lance Leipold talked about it on Monday. They're not getting to the quarterback. So that's putting a lot of pressure on the secondary and the linebackers to go out there and be perfect in coverage. And sometimes they are. And then sometimes guys like Kobe Bryant and Mel Dotson haven't been as good as last year because of the fact that, they're not getting turnovers at the rate they did last year, nor are they getting the chance and the opportunity to go out there and make plays. Because these guys are big play corners. I mean, they're going to get burnt sometimes, but the end of the fact of the matter is they're guys who get interceptions, break up play, passes, force fumbles. That's their bread and butter.
Definitely. No, I couldn't agree more with that. And I think so much of that does tie into the lack of pressure. And, last year with Austin Booker, had some other guys getting pressure on the QB. And this year that just hasn't been there consistently. That's not to say that it can't happen and adjustments can't be made, but first half of the season, it's definitely been looking that way.
No, absolutely. I mean, and if there's a such thing as a get right game for this KU defense, it's this Houston Cougars team. I mean, they're averaging 13 points per game.
Yeah.
That's pretty horrid. You can't win a lot of football games averaging 13 points per game, but they beat TCU doing that. I mean, I know they scored more than 13 in that game, but it's kind of goes back to it is there's been a continuous trend where Kansas has had opportunities to go out there and play opponents on paper that are inferior in talent. But Kansas hasn't had the chance to really get things done. They haven't done a good job of closing out halves, closing out games, and I think that kind of leads into this Houston defense, right? Like they have done a really nice job, I think, in some areas, and they're pretty athletic. I think a lot of the guys had mentioned it in this clip. You talked about it and mentioned it. What have you kind of seen from this Houston defense and kind of looking at that?
Yeah, they got some good athletes for sure, and specifically this guy that just intercepted the ball, AJ Halsey, Houston native. I think he's a junior. I want to say he transferred into Houston last year, but just watching some Houston tape, he's very aggressive, very athletic. So he's definitely going to make plays. I'd be surprised if we don't see him really make any plays on Saturday. That's going to happen, but just avoiding the big plays, big momentum shifts like this. As you could see there, it was just kind of a late throw over the middle, intercepted by the safety. And, we have seen that offensively out of KU. And, last game against Arizona State, it was great. No turnovers. I think Jalen's decision-making was great. But, with this safety and really all their DBs, they're going to be aggressive. They are athletic. And, that can also be a good thing because say you got these defensive backs screaming down on these routes. All right, well, then you get Luke Grimm on a 10-yard, dig and go, little in and up. And, I think it's something we could definitely exploit if they are just screaming on these routes and, get a double move here and there, keep them honest. And, that's going to open up other things in the pass game.
Yeah, I think that's really well said. We saw Quentin Skinner had a really nice night against Arizona State's defense after struggling, I think, most of this year. And Luke Grimm has been the Mr. Consistency on this KU offense that struggled. I mean, he has 33 catches on the year. Last year, he had 33 catches the entire year. That kind of tells you the output he's kind of on. And I think, if you're a Kansas fan, you're hoping Jalen Daniels can kind of put together some of the magic he had against Arizona State. I mean, I think that was the best he's looked all year. He said it. Lance Leipold said it. And I think, if you can get that, you have a good chance for Kansas to end this losing streak and come out with a victory.
Definitely. Yeah. I think main thing is, really what it's been all year is, just being able to finish, whether that's finish a drive, finish the half, and obviously finish the game. I feel like we've had, maybe 4, maybe even 5 games where it's kind of the same deal. Like we maybe let up a score before halftime that kind of switches the momentum and then not being able to finish in the fourth quarter. And, that's offense, defense, and special teams. And, I hope that was definitely a focus over the bye week, just finishing, playing every snap, finishing every play. And, I think definitely a good opportunity to get back in the win column here and, hopefully they go out and do it.
Yeah, well said, and we'll see what happens on Saturday. Thanks for watching, guys, and appreciate you guys' comments and everything else. Thanks.